And welcome back to Liquid Lunch. It's me, Hugh Sanders here. And
we're shifting gears.
Well, we're shifting gears. We got Shane-Suepaul joining us, who is the president of the Mortgage Brokers Association of Toronto?
Ontario.
Of Ontario.
Wow,
so,
that's a big job.
Yeah, and that is so Shane, anyway, welcome back to the show.
Thank you very much.
Nice to see you. It's been forever.
Yeah, that's certainly not what we were talking about the last time you were here. And so this is a new role for you as the president of the Mortgage Brokers Association. So where do we begin? What do you want to talk about first?
Well, I'll back up a little bit. When I came here the last time, I actually was the president of the Mortgage Brokers Association about 6 years ago, but we weren't talking about that. We were talking about something else.
Right. See, I didn't know that even.
Right.
But you come across as so unpresident-like.
Because I think it's important.
That's a compliment.
Thank you very much. And I think it's important that someone in my role that leads an organization can mix and talk with anyone at any time without someone feeling that, hey, you know what,
I can't talk to him.
Approach him.
Yes. No, and you absolutely do that.
Yeah.
In fact, I'd like to hug you.
Okay, when we're done, Sandra, you can hug me.
Okay.
Let's try to get that on video. Okay? We'll try to get that on video.
Okay.
Okay, Shane, so let's talk about the Mortgage Brokers Association.
Okay, the Mortgage Brokers Association came about 15 years ago, and it was originally called Ontario Mortgage Brokers Association, which was OMBA. And then OMBA kind of got shut down, and then IMBA, which was independent, started up about 15 years ago.
Okay.
It was started up by about three gentlemen, with three gentlemen getting together and saying, what could we do to make the mortgage brokerage industry a better industry? Because as you may or may not be aware, it's been an industry that has gone through a lot of name calling and bad name, that sort of thing. The legislation was not updated in 35 years until 2008, 2006, 2008. The government introduced new legislation to make sure that all mortgage brokers were on the same level playing in the field, that sort of thing. So it was important, and that's the start of IMBA.
So what was wrong with the industry? I have to tell you, I did study to be a mortgage broker at one point.
Oh, I did not know that.
And all you had to do was go do one course, and I taught the course at Centennial College for 3 years.
I still have the textbook.
Right.
You remember those burgundy textbooks?
Correct. Right. And I'll tell you this much. It's changed now. Yes, you still have to do one course to become a mortgage agent.
Right.
Okay. And then the government has introduced education, higher education, to become a mortgage broker. And you have to wait 2 years now after being an agent to become a mortgage broker.
Wow.
Now, in the old days, if I remember correctly, if you were a real estate broker, you were automatically a mortgage broker.
Geez, you know the business there, Hugh. That's correct.
Wow.
That's correct. In the old days.
I'm impressed.
That's not the case
anymore. When the legislation was changed in 2008, they were given a window of opportunity.
Right.
Any real estate broker was given a window of opportunity to become a mortgage broker.
Yeah.
And after that, they lost it. Now, if you want to become a mortgage broker,
it's a separate deal.
It's a separate
so
deal.
A layperson like me, because you guys are having this conversation that is like over here, okay, and I'm thinking most people are like me, well, maybe a little more than me, but let's start here.
Okay.
What is the difference between a real estate person, I don't even know if I should say agent or broker, and a mortgage agent or broker?
A real estate agent is the one that sells the property.
Okay.
They list the property, they put it up for sale, and they sell it on behalf of their clients.
Okay.
A mortgage broker or mortgage agent is the one that finds the financing for the prospective purchaser for the property. So the real estate agent or broker sells, and we do the financing end. We arrange the financing.
Does a real estate agent always work with a mortgage?
There are real estate agents or brokers that are also mortgage agents or brokers.
So you can have two in one.
You can have two in one.
It's just a longer process now.
It's two separate licenses.
Okay.
But yes, you can.
And how beneficial is it for a real estate agent to become a mortgage agent?
I've got a very slanted view on that, so I will give it to you. I think if you think seriously about it, if you're the client and you're selling your house, and I am the real estate agent, right, and you're buying another house, so you're using me as your mortgage agent, and I take your information and take it to a lender and don't get you approved you get upset with me as the mortgage agent, and indirectly, or you get upset with me as a real estate agent.
That.
So I warn real estate agents and real estate brokers, if you want to become a mortgage broker, be careful, because it could come back to bite you. Whereas if you're independent of the transaction, where there's a sale or purchase, then you're separate. Then the client can look at separate people. I think, to me personally, I believe it's important that people know that and be able to deal with that.
Now, what's the difference between a mortgage agent and a broker? I know there's that 2-year timeline in terms of education and all that, but what does that actually allow a broker to do versus an agent? What an agent can't do?
We do basically the same thing, but a broker can set up his own mortgage brokerage, which is like a real estate brokerage also. So when you have a mortgage brokerage, you can have a bunch of brokers and mortgage agents working under the brokerage
so you can have your
license.
own business, basically.
Correct.
Yeah. If you're just an agent, like in real estate, you can't set up your own company. You have to be a broker to set up your own real estate company, and the same things with the mortgage.
You have to have someone with a broker's license to set up your business. Yeah. We have mortgage agents that own the business, but what they do, they have to have on record a mortgage broker on record as what they call them today as the principal mortgage broker for the brokerage.
Okay, so let's talk about what the association does.
Okay. The association represents mortgage brokers and agents with regards to dealing with issues from a legislative perspective, as well as provide education, we have trade shows and conferences and so on, where we try and bring the level up of professionalism within the industry higher than it is right now. Right? We offer programs. We've got our trade show and conference coming up in April. Right? We have and right now all mortgage brokers and agents licenses are coming up for renewal on March 31st. And FISCO, who is the governing body that looks after all licensing, you have to do what we call a relicensing course. And we are one of the bodies that offer that course. You can do it online, you can do it in person, that sort of thing.
So you're busy.
Well, the organization is busy right now, very busy right now, because of the relicensing. And when the legislation changed a few years ago, the government also introduced errors and omissions insurance as a requirement for all mortgage brokers and agents.
So they have to get insured.
Yes, and it's up to the brokerage to make sure they have insurance for all the mortgage agents and brokers that they have under their license.
And then what's that like in terms of getting that insurance? Is it offered through one company or a government body? Or
it's offered through several private companies. Several private companies, and then it varies again, because if your brokerage is doing a lot of private lending, it becomes more expensive because the inherent risk are higher, that sort of thing.
What is private lending?
Private lending is...
Yeah, you should answer that.
I should answer that question. Private lending is where we have private individuals, put aside financial institutions like the major banks, trust companies, that sort of thing. We've got private individuals that have got money to lend. And they're lending it out on real estate.
Like rich people giving money?
Yeah.
Not giving.
Lending money. Yeah,
Yes.
Okay, why don't we just call it that?
That's what it is.
It's private lending.
It's rich people giving money, lending money. Okay,
well,
is it like a rich loan shark?
Listen, you don't know who's rich. I knew guys, because I'm from Welland, Ontario.
Okay.
I knew guys, like they worked in the factory their whole life, but now they're lending money on mortgages, right?
That's correct. Yeah. Anyone can lend money. And this is where what the government did when they brought in the legislation a few years ago is that they promised that every 5 years they would look at the legislation to make sure that we're kept up to date with regards to what's happening in the market. And I don't know if you're aware, but today the way the market has gone, right, there's a lot more private lenders coming into the stream, because the banks are not giving you the kind of rates of return that you want. Mutual funds haven't done very well. So if you've got $50,000 sitting in the bank at 1 to 2%, and you can lend it out on a first or second mortgage at 6 to 15%, depending on where it is or whatever, right? Would you lend it out? Because your collateral, you're getting a legal lien on the property as security for your money.
Wow.
Know what I'm
So-
saying?
Wow. Okay, so it's a very profitable business.
It is a very if you are.
Hugh, take that 50,000 that you have and do that.
I wasn't talking about his 50,000.
Okay, me?
Yes, yours.
No, mine goes to all the animals.
So Shane, what are some of the big issues in the mortgage business these days?
Well, some of the issues, the government, as you know, over the last 4 or 5 years, have re-looked at the levels, the loan to values that you should be lending at. At one point, we were doing 100% financing.
Yeah.
The government stepped in and says they no longer want to see that happening. So the CMHC, which is Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation, was instructed to cut back. They went to 95% lending.
Back in my day, it was 90%.
What does
Right.
that mean?
Well, that means you only put 5% down when you're buying a house. Buying a house for $1 million, you put $100,000 down.
Okay.
What the government has further come in and done this year is they're saying, okay, we're now going to cut back. If the property value is more than, I think it's 400,000 or 500,000, you have to put 10%.
Oh, so is it
Because
graduated now? It's
because of the economy.
Because of the hot market.
Because of the hot market, and when you get into a
Ah.
mortgage over 500,000, it's a big payment, and they don't want people buying $1 million homes
because
and they
that
can't
makes
afford
sense.
it.
That makes sense to me.
So they want more skin in the game, as we say.
Yeah. Okay, that makes
I don't
sense.
even know why they went, because when I did it, it was like, at one time, the banks couldn't even lend mortgage money.
And they're fighting for stuff right now. They're
banks?
fighting. Yeah,
What are
they're starting to. You're going to see the spring market coming up here.
Yeah.
They're going to be lowering their rates a little bit again.
Really?
Yeah, to attract.
Now, do you think?
Yeah.
So this is where you got to get into the discussion about the market. Like, to me, Shane, the market is very hot. It's a little scary that it's so hot as in Toronto and Vancouver especially.
Well, I think it's a market that's being created by lack of inventory, one, and two,
But they're building like crazy.
and I
right.
don't like that.
And well, it could be. My personal view is that one of the things is that the real estate agents are also creating that frenzy within the market. You know, a long time you can go in with an offer, and then they would have a second offer come in a day later, and they'll call you back and say, "Hey, look, listen, I got a better offer than you." What real estate agents are doing today is they're saying they're only accepting offers at a certain point in time.
So everybody's got
So
to
it's
compete.
a bidding war at that point in time.
Yeah.
Right? And people are paying 10, 15, 20, 25, $50,000, $100,000 more than the property is listed for. Here is the problem. Real estate valuation companies are saying, okay, what do we use and how do we value it? Because everything is based on market. What can the market sustain?
Like the appraisers and
Correct.
that sort of thing, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
And that's why you find, that's why I warn persons that are buying homes that go and overbid. I warn them when we sit down to talk about financing. I says, no, if you're putting 20% down, which is the normal to make it a conventional mortgage, you don't have to go through CMHC. There is no guarantee that you will get the mortgage approved, because after the real estate appraiser goes in and appraises the property, he says, okay, you paid $1 million for it, but it was originally listed for $800,000. Okay, we think it's only worth $800,000.
Mm-hmm.
You know what happens then? If they want to continue buying that house, they have to come up. The client or the borrower has to come up with an extra $200,000.
Now it's
And I'm
not a-
using an extreme circumstance here.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I mean, that's
So I have a friend who thinks that it's all going to bust.
get at who?
I can't tell you.
Okay.
You know this person, but I can't tell you.
Professionally, I don't think it's going to bust.
Okay.
We anticipate a correction.
Okay. Well, that's I think the same
Well,
thing.
not a bust and correction are two
Okay.
different
Well,
things.
I don't understand the lingo. Sorry.
A correction,
It just
it might
thinks
be a
it's gonna
5, 10, 15% correction in the market. When it's going to happen, no one knows. That's why you find that
That's
the
why you're in the
government-
business. You have to be a psychic here. When is that
No, I
gonna
don't. I
happen?
didn't walk with the crystal ball today, so you know.
Next time.
Okay, I'll walk with the crystal ball.
So
Shane.
I forget what I was going to say now, Sandra. So
So no, you do think there's going to be a correction? So let's make a prediction.
no,
You
no,
make the.
what?
It's wrong for me to make a prediction.
Yeah.
No, I'm asking him.
Oh, you're asking him. Oh.
Well,
I'm not putting you in the spot
what do you want
anymore.
me to say?
No, seriously. I mean, it's got. It does seem like.
there's a
Maybe
few,
we need some honest real estate agents. Is that even possible?
Well, here's the thing. This is one thing that right now the pressure. I just read a big article in the Globe about negative interest rates, right, which they're trying out in Europe now, and the economy's not doing that great on the one hand, right, and so in Canada, the U.S., Europe, central banks seems the only tool they have to stimulate the economy is to lower the interest rates, right?
I don't see them going much lower than what they are right now, because here's the big picture. Bank needs to pay staff, they need to pay, or they pay for the big buildings that they have. They have to make money from somewhere, right? When in a simple economy, you put money in the bank takes it and lends it out, and they make a profit. They give you some of it, and the rest they keep to run their organization by paying salaries, by paying whatever they have to do, by buying furniture, that sort of thing, right? If they went into a negative interest rate situation, what's going to happen? The banks are probably going to say, hold on a minute, it's not going to happen. And I think, and I honestly believe that our government here in Canada probably did the right thing when they started clawing back some of the lending values and holding interest rates where they are right now to make us to have a safer economic situation happen right now in Canada. I think we're relatively okay. We're not out of the woods as yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we're better than a lot of. We're in a better position.
We're way ahead than a lot of the other countries in the world, because we've had, and I hate to use the word conservative, but we've had a conservative fiscal policy, by the government, by the previous government, and
it saved our butts in 2008, right?
Exactly so.
But that does seem to be the Canadian mentality. We are conservative even if it's not the Conservative Party.
No, small c.
Huh?
Small c.
Yes, exactly. So we are. That is the way we are.
We are, and you find that generally flows through the population. My biggest concern right now is for the young people coming up. How are they going to buy homes at the prices that we're selling them for?
Yeah, that's
right.
Yeah. I just
in
had
the
lunch
cities
with my
they need to live.
I just had lunch with my son, and he lives downtown.
Yeah.
Rents a hole in the wall for $2,000.
It's crazy.
I'm saying, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And I think it's important that population, they call themselves the millenniums, or whatever they call themselves, take a serious look at their financial situation.
But what are they going to do? They can't get rent cheaper than that.
They're hoping to inherit the money that their parents built up.
Yeah, so I think something's got to happen.
Something's going to happen.
Something's going to shake things up.
Maybe we can have a Jubilee year.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, we try to do that.
Do you know what that is?
No.
Okay, let's tell them what a Jubilee year is. You know that better.
It's from the Bible. Every 50 years, so every 49 years, all the debt is forgiven. All of it.
Now, let's be realistic here for a second. Okay, I don't know, and I don't know what you had for lunch, but I can tell you that ain't happening here in Canada. It ain't. Governments can afford to do that to other countries, right? Because they're additional benefit. But to individuals,
well, I know,
because you got to remember the banks have to. They have a responsibility to their shareholders, right?
Yeah.
Shareholders, if you own shares in Scotiabank or any one of the banks, you would want to get a dividend check every year from them.
I suppose.
I suppose.
So are you saying, back to the private lending thing?
Oh, my God.
Is that a good way for people to go if they have extra money, instead of investing in stocks?
In the last 2 years, the amount of mortgage investment companies have come out. Right, people pooling their funds together and putting in what we call in our business a MIC, Mortgage Investment Corporation, and lending it out.
That's interesting. So they're becoming like a mini bank.
Correct.
In a way.
Correct.
Wow, I think that's very cool.
Yeah. Okay, Shane, we're just about out of time. Any final words you want to leave us with?
No, I just want to remind everyone that's looking on that IMBA is having its trade show and conference on April the 14th, 2016 at the Universal Space Center, which is at 6250 Highway 7 in Vaughan. We have exhibitors, over 70 to 90 exhibitors from the industry, lenders, service providers, that sort of thing. And we're having sessions. So if you want to come out and learn a little more about our business, please mark your date and come out.
So who would come to this? People who are who want to buy a home? Would that help the regular
it's more
person?
for people who want to get into the business.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or that are already in the business.
That's
that just
correct.
want
Who wanna learn more.
expand their
Learn more,
knowledge
correct.
and stuff like that.
And will you be speaking there?
I will not be speaking. I am actually stepping down as the president at that trade show. Every year we change every year.
Okay. Okay.
Well, Shane, this has been great. Great to get reacquainted again.
And Hugh and Sandra, I want to thank you very much for having me here.
Thank you for the education.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
But I still think we should do a Jubilee year.
And we got the website up there, imba.ca. All right, so let's take a look.
I think we should call it Canadian Independent Mortgage Brokers Association.
Well,
That could be
I didn't want to get into that, but we've just formed a national organization.
See, and that's where you're going next, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, you'll have to come back and tell us all about
See,
that.
I am psychic.
We have three provincial organizations already on board.
Wow.
We've got BC, we've got
That's
Atlantic
awesome.
Canada, and ourselves.
That's great.
Alberta has decided not to come on board as yet, and Saskatchewan, Manitoba, and Quebec don't have associations as yet.
But you're gonna.
We're working towards getting associations.
It's part of the increasing professionalization of the whole industry, right, Shane?
Yep.
That's amazing.
Yep.
Wow, that's exciting.
All right. Okay, thanks, Shane.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to take a little break, and then we have more right here on that channel.